Solo Sikoa has to deal with the final boss. Jacob Fatu betrays Solo Sikoa. The Wyatt Sicks will receive massive criticism in the coming weeks. A veteran laughs at Uncle Howdy becoming a WWE Champion. Triple H is set to re-sign a former WWE RAW star. Kayla Braxton addresses Cody Rhodes and Triple H after leaving the WWE. Cody Rhodes has a major problem with Randy Orton, the reality behind the Bloodline story explained, and much, much more. Let's dive right in. What's next after the Bloodline saga on WWE SmackDown? The latest episode of WWE SmackDown saw the coronation of Solo Sikoa as the new tribal chief. However, Paul Heyman refused to acknowledge the former enforcer of the Bloodline. This led to the Solo-led faction turning on him. Following the recent turn of events, fans are wondering what's next in the Bloodline saga. To feed into the curiosities, here are 4 bold predictions for the future of the stable after WWE SmackDown. Number 1. Jacob Fatu betrays Solo Sikoa. Jacob Fatu made his shocking debut last week on WWE SmackDown. The Samoan werewolf arguably overshadowed Solo Sikoa on his very first night in WWE. Fatu was crowned as the new enforcer of Solo Sikoa's Bloodline this week. However, given his caliber and personality, he may soon become a bigger name than Sikoa in the Bloodline. If so, this may lead to Fatu turning on his tribal chief. He could betray Solo and join forces with Paul Heyman, turning babyface in the process. Number 2. Paul Heyman calls upon Brock Lesnar to fight Solo Sikoa's Bloodline on WWE SmackDown. Paul Heyman was seemingly kicked out of the Bloodline on WWE SmackDown. With Roman Reigns currently on a hiatus, Paul Heyman could call upon one of his most trusted superstars, Brock Lesnar, to fight Solo Sikoa's Bloodline. Rumors of WWE planning to bring the Beast back were floating around on social media a while back. While nothing has come of it yet, things may finally change in the coming days. Heyman could have the Beast make a surprise return to avenge his humiliation. Number 3. The former Wiseman forms a new faction. If Brock Lesnar is unable to come to Paul Heyman's rescue, the veteran may look elsewhere for help. Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens are currently involved in a program with the Solo-led faction. Hence, it makes sense for Heyman to join forces with the trio. The Wiseman could then go on to bring in Jimmy Uso, forming a formidable faction to go toe-to-toe with the Bloodline. Number 4. Roman Reigns returns early. Solo Sikoa crowned himself as the new tribal chief on the latest episode of WWE SmackDown. This is bound to not go down well with the original head of the table, Roman Reigns. The former big dog is expected to return by SummerSlam. However, the recent turn of events may lead to him returning early. The tribal chief could show up at Money in the Bank to help Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens even the odds against the Bloodline. The Wyatt Sicks will receive massive criticism in the coming weeks. The Wyatt Sicks made a huge impact on the June 17th episode of WWE RAW after teasing their debut for several weeks online. The group has mostly received good feedback from fans, but Vince Russo is unsure how long the positivity will last. The mysterious faction is led by Uncle Howdy, portrayed by former NXT champion Bo Dallas. The stable also includes Dexter Lumis, Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, and Nikki Cross. So far, none of the 5 superstars have wrestled since undergoing their drastic character transformations. Russo, WWE's head writer in the late 1990s, discussed the Wyatt Sicks on Sportskeeda Wrestling's Writing with Russo. He raised concerns about whether fans who enjoy traditional wrestling matches will like watching a horror-themed group on WWE programming. This Wyatt Sicks, bro, is going completely against the people that they've been kowtowing to for the last 10 years. That's what I don't understand. Bro, do you know how much pushback they're gonna get on this in the coming weeks? I don't understand, bro, Russo said. A veteran laughs at Uncle Howdy becoming a WWE Champion. Uncle Howdy recently returned to WWE television alongside other members of the new Wyatt Sicks faction. Vince Russo, WWE's head writer in the late 1990s, gave an amusing reaction when asked about the possibility of Uncle Howdy winning a world title. Uncle Howdy is portrayed by Bo Dallas, the brother of the late Bray Wyatt. On June 17th, Dallas was involved in a chaotic scene on Raw alongside his new stablemates Dexter Lumis, Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, and Nikki Cross. Speaking to host Dr. Chris Featherstone on Sportskeeda Wrestling's Writing with Russo, the veteran laughed while discussing Uncle Howdy potentially capturing a world title in the Stamford-based promotion. "You said Cousin Howdy's gonna be world champion?" Laughs Uncle Howdy is gonna be on Live with Regis and Kelly. "All right, Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy's gonna do Subway commercials." "Okay, all right, we'll see," said Russo. Triple H is set to re-sign a former WWE RAW star. While WWE has regularly let talents go in recent years, some stars choose not to re-sign and leave to begin a new chapter. Dijak recently departed the company. However, Dutch Mantel believed he could get a call to return in the future. Dijak will be remembered as an NXT talent who never really got a fair shot on the main roster. After being drafted to Raw recently, fans expected him to finally showcase his true potential, only to see him shockingly announce that he and WWE were parting ways. Dutch Mantel reacted to the latest WWE exit on Smack Talk and speculated that Dijak could be one of those talents who makes a comeback after a run on the indies. Mantel spoke of a scenario where Triple H would need some new talent, and he could call Dijak, among other former WWE stars, to reinforce his roster. I don't know what they saw in him, but if Triple H is sitting, he could be driving one day and says, "Damn, I need a guy." And all of a sudden, Dijak, "Damn, that Dijak guy." They can make the call to him and get him back in. His entrance back in could be as perplexing as his exit. So, they are gone for a year, and when they come back, they repackage him, and he is off to the races. Mantel was confident that the physically imposing star would get booked well, with a potential run in Japan being one of the options. The wrestling legend continued, "He either doesn't fit the plans they have then, or it's going to be a chore to work him in, even though he is over in NXT. But I don't know. I hate anybody to lose their jobs. But he'll get booked. He'll go to Japan, he'll go to TNA, he'll work his way back. How big is the guy? He is a big guy. I know that." Dijak is a well-respected name in pro wrestling, who has been around for well over a decade, and rest assured, there will be many wrestling promoters reaching out to him. Kayla Braxton addresses Cody Rhodes and Triple H after leaving the WWE. After nearly 8 years, a WWE personality made her final appearance on SmackDown last night, ahead of her departure from the company. After Cody Rhodes bid farewell to her after SmackDown went off air, she penned an emotional message stating that she could not have asked for a better goodbye. The name in question is none other than Kayla Braxton. The 33-year-old joined the Stamford-based company in 2016 and has worked in several roles, including being a backstage interviewer on WWE programming. However, she recently decided to leave the company as her contract expired. She made her final appearance on SmackDown last night. After the show, Cody Rhodes invited his former colleague on the stage for her to bid farewell to the crowd. Earlier today, she took to Instagram to share the emotional moment with the American Nightmare, penning a heartfelt message in which she addressed Cody and the fans. Braxton also disclosed that Chief Content Officer Triple H and others were waiting for her backstage after that emotional moment to congratulate her. "I'm so overwhelmed. So thankful. Wow. I still can't put what last night meant to me into words. But to have American Nightmare Cody buying me out into MSG to bid my farewell to all of you while a Tripoli and members of my WWE family were waiting for me in the back to congratulate me. I couldn't have asked for a better goodbye. This family is truly special, and I plan to always be a part of it. I love you all more than you know. And thanks to one of my closest friends, Views from Sant, for capturing this moment. Love you so much." After announcing her exit from the Stamford-based company, rumors suggested that Kayla Braxton could join AEW. However, the former SmackDown backstage interviewer took to X, formerly Twitter, to debunk those rumors. The 33-year-old revealed that she plans to step away from the wrestling business following her departure. "The support from you guys has been overwhelming. I am so thankful for you, but I did want to make one thing clear as I enter my final week in WWE. If I wanted to keep working in wrestling, I wouldn't be walking away from the largest wrestling company in the world. Nice try, rumor weeds." Braxton's work in the Stamford-based company has been appreciated by many fans and experts. It will be interesting to see the next step for the former host of The Bump. What did you think of Kayla Braxton's 8-year WWE run? Cody Rhodes has a major problem with Randy Orton. Cody Rhodes is currently involved in a grueling rivalry with the Bloodline on SmackDown. However, Rhodes may be oblivious to a potential threat that has been around him all this time. It looks like a certain apex predator has been lurking in the shadows, looking for an opportunity to prey on the American Nightmare. This comes after what transpired on this week's episode of SmackDown. During the opening segment, Cody Rhodes delivered a vehement promo in the ring, with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens alongside him. The 38-year-old star stated that he should have been defending his undisputed WWE title in Madison Square Garden against a worthy opponent instead of tussling with the Bloodline. As soon as Rhodes mentioned the undisputed WWE Championship in his promo, Orton's entire focus shifted to him, as if a predator had heard the rustling of his prey. The Viper stealthily turned his attention towards the American Nightmare and gazed at him with an unspoken intensity that seemed to whisper, "You got my attention, Cody." It could be a matter of time before Randy Orton strikes the undisputed WWE Champion, as he might have his eyes set on the gold. However, it is not the first time the apex predator has been seen surreptitiously coveting around Cody Rhodes' championship. A similar thing happened at Clash at the Castle, when Orton gazed at the title, which was resting on Rhodes' shoulder. Therefore, a major threat could be lurking around the American Nightmare in the form of Randy Orton, as the 14-time world champion could strike at any moment out of nowhere. SummerSlam is WWE's one of the biggest events of the year, and fans have been wondering about the direction of the undisputed WWE Championship. There have been quite a few rumors about the company possibly setting up a feud between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. However, the prospect of it happening at the biggest party of the summer is relatively low as of now. The American Nightmare is currently embroiled in a heated rivalry with the Bloodline, where he will take on the heel faction in a six-man tag team match at Money in the Bank. This rivalry is expected to extend beyond the upcoming spectacle, culminating in a high-voltage clash between Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam this year. WWE seems to be heading in this direction, as per the current reports from Dave Meltzer. Hence, Rhodes versus Orton does not appear to be the plan for WWE's biggest carnival of the summer. However, a feud between both superstars is seemingly inevitable to happen during Cody's undisputed WWE Championship run. The reality behind the Bloodline story explained. It's been a few years, but the Bloodline saga is still firing on all cylinders in WWE. Following the latest twist on SmackDown, Dutch Mantel broke down the storyline and why it has been so effective. After refusing to acknowledge Solo Sikoa as the tribal chief, Paul Heyman was subjected to a brutal beatdown by the new Bloodline. Dutch Mantel enjoyed the most recent development in the long-running angle, which he believed now wrote itself. The WWE veteran mentioned the various characters in the narrative and suggested that the stage was set for the Usos and Roman Reigns' reunion. With Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens in the picture, Dutch Mantel noted that the Bloodline story could fill an entire card by itself. See, a great angle because it writes itself. You just wrote it yourself just now, okay? You know the Usos are coming back and Roman's there, Cody's there. You've got it! It just writes itself. That's a whole card by itself. When you tell it in increments, and you produce it in increments, and you piece it together. Even though fans can predict what's coming next, Dutch Mantel praised the booking of the new regime and how it has maintained continued interest in the program. Everybody can see the story of that's already gone on and what's coming. And that's the story of a good storyteller and a good booker. I don't really know who is booking this. I guess it's Triple H and The Rock, and who's that Gewirtz guy? The expectation is that Roman Reigns will return to exact revenge for Paul Heyman. However, when and how that happens is anyone's guess. How Roman Reigns can get revenge on Solo Sikoa for attacking Paul Heyman on WWE SmackDown. Roman Reigns cannot be happy with Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline after the latest episode of WWE SmackDown. What was supposed to be a Bloodline acknowledgement ceremony turned into one for Solo Sikoa instead. After Sikoa had Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa acknowledge him, he looked for the same words from Paul Heyman. Heyman fought back tears before eventually refusing to acknowledge Sikoa as his tribal chief. The new-look Bloodline then destroyed the Wiseman. Sikoa delivered a Samoan spike, and Jacob Fatu hit a flying headbutt off the top rope. However, the attack wasn't over until the group put Heyman through the announce table, as Reigns did to enemies while in the Shield. Roman Reigns would surely be on the warp soon, and could get revenge on Solo Sikoa for the attack on Heyman in the next 5 ways. Number 1, he talks to the Council of Elders. During the early stages of the Bloodline saga, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman conversed with the tribal elders. They gave Roman their blessing as the tribal chief, and reiterated that fact by putting their sacred necklace on him after he defeated Jey Uso at Hell in a Cell 2020. Due to the importance of tradition in the Samoan culture, the head of the table could seek counsel from his elders before taking his next step. It would be even more emotional after the recent passing of his father, Sika. Doing so would also be a nice tribute to the Hall of Famer. Number 2, he reassembles the original Bloodline. It's been easy to see that Solo is packing his Bloodline with numbers to combat the original group. With Jacob Fatu's addition, Sikoa's faction has a numbers advantage already. If The Rock comes back to the original group, then the numbers would be equal. To combat the new look group, Roman Reigns could return for revenge by reassembling his Bloodline. It would be like Evolution or DX reuniting to combat a present threat. A reconciliation with Jey Uso could be woven into the storyline. They could also address how Solo kicked Jimmy Uso out of the group. The Bloodline Civil War would then take place. Number 3, he costs Solo Sikoa his match at Money in the Bank. The quickest and easiest way for Roman to get revenge on Solo Sikoa for the attack on Heyman would be for Reigns to return at Money in the Bank. Fans would cheer loudly and expect the head of the table to immediately target Cody Rhodes. If he didn't go after Rhodes but instead attacked Solo Sikoa, the intentions would be clear. Attacking both Jimmy and the Wiseman goes against how Roman ran the Bloodline. Solo's deeds since WrestleMania 40 surely require harsh retribution, costing Solo and his team the match against Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens at Money in the Bank could lead to a match at SummerSlam 2024. It would also be the beginning of a power struggle on WWE SmackDown. Number 4. Roman Reigns challenges Solo Sikoa to a tribal combat. When Jey Uso started to waver in his commitment to the Bloodline, he challenged Roman to tribal combat. It was supposed to be a match with no disqualifications or outside interference. Jimmy and Solo still interfered, making the guidelines almost irrelevant. Since the lore around the Bloodline is steeped in tradition, it would make sense for Roman to return and confront Solo. When he sees that Solo is mad with power, he could challenge the tribal heir to tribal combat. It would be a specialty match for a big show and carry SmackDown WWE for months, while the story is built around the opposing factions. Number 5. Solo Sikoa has to deal with the final boss. Fans last saw The Rock in WWE when he confronted Cody Rhodes on the Raw after WrestleMania 40. He came out with his title, but wanted the undisputed WWE Championship. Since Rocky acknowledged Roman as the tribal chief on the road to WrestleMania, he should still be loyal to Roman. He did leave as a heel, but still gets cheers from many fans. If The Rock comes back to defend Paul Heyman on the orders of Roman Reigns, it would add yet another wrinkle in the ongoing Bloodline saga. His appearance would also set things up for future matches, including WrestleMania 41.